Yes, welcome to the Way Forward by Prophet Ebelechukwu Elochukwu. The Forward is a show that deals with all kinds of issues that I could not address in the church or didn't get a chance to address. It's an opportunity that actually to have as the show evolve. We are going to have discussions and bring in experts and specialists to have other views so that we can discuss issues that affect us as humans, humanity, issues that has to do with science, with arts, with religion, with politics, with our culture, spirituality, social, community, psychological health. We're going to be addressing a whole lot of issues, things that will improve human life. In the previous segment, I was just speaking about an encounter I had with the Lord, and in which case he came to me and was very upset and angry, and was speaking about the things that has been going on around the world and his plan to make some changes by creating divisions around the West among the Caucasian race so that they can scatter, just as the Lord Himself did. At the time, the people were building the Tower of the Babel to the Babylonians. The Tower of the Babel, I believe it was in Babylonia that this incident took place. But a lot of people were there, and in which case he divided the people to speak in different languages and to get them confused. And that plan to split with splinter. And if you want the majority of the people, Caucasian race made up for people from different actually tribes and different people, whether you the Scottish people, Irish people, Germans, and even the Germans, they have also their own tribes over there. The British people, there's a combination of people, the French people, Spanish people, all the people that make up the white folks in the world today. If the Lord scatters them by splitting them as He had planned, and we are not out of the woods. I pleaded with the Lord to give us time to see if we can change our ways and make restitutions and make amends, and so that we can live in harmony and in peace, harmonious coexistence among ourselves, in love. And the Lord will change His heart towards us, as we know. And when God is angry and people change like that, and it touches His heart, and we know example from His word. If you go to the book of Jeremiah, in chapter 26, verse 13, you will see that the Lord Himself, His word is His bond, and He keeps His promise. So when you see that, you will see that the Lord Himself have made that promise. He's also made the same promise in Jeremiah chapter 7. In Jeremiah chapter 7, if you start to read from verse 5 to 34, you will hear what the Lord said about the way God acts when He's angry to that point, when the West decided to say God is dead and God is gone and not alive, there's nothing like God, and they decided to play God, all the things that they were doing. And then God Himself, they forgot that in the Luke chapter 2, that there was a prophecy from Simeon that already said that God, when Jesus Christ is going to be a thorn in the flesh of powers and kings and all the people, and we bring down governments and destroy powers, principalities and powers, especially those that stand in His way because they refuse to act right. So when God came in telling me in confidence about His plan and what He's going to do. So as I just shared that earlier, just a recap of the previous segment that I shared a message about that and the warning for people to know that if that is to happen, that all the majority that we have today will no longer be majority. If the Scots decide to claim to be Scottish and they decide to form a different alliance with different tribes and different groups, the majority that the Caucasians have will splinter. And if God decides, as He said, that's something very important, that is going to take them out of all the big places where they are. And if you look at now, they are really losing ground. The United Nations, they really don't have much power because other nations of the world have taken over the United Nations and all their subsidiaries. And if you look in a lot of sciences, a lot of people, I'm going to talk about that especially because it's among the things I am praying about now, the impact and the depth of China people don't know how far and how deep they have gone and in every places. And if they only can see and know what is happening, they know that actually that, can you imagine why people now being slaves and working in waiting the gates and security guards and reception and in all the menial job, and they're losing all the places where they occupy the positions and their power. A lot of people will commit suicide and die. I mean, they, like the world that they have built for 1,000 years being stripped out of their feet. And of course, kingdoms has fallen that way. And if you look at Greece, for example, they can survive without the European Union giving them money and feeding them and taking care of them. So it is terrifying to me. So that's why we were saying that it's better for us to come together as one group and one unity, and try to make God happy and be obedient and do what He wants, so that this will not happen, so that we don't lose that scale, especially the skills that the white people have, and they got a lot of skills. Just give it to them. And of course, they built it upon the back of some people, and they have accumulated so much upon the back of people. But is it not better that we also benefit from that than to lose it completely? The Lord told me about this civilization that was even before Egypt in Africa, that was all wiped out, all buried. The ground opened its mouth and swallowed them, and that's it. That's it. Everything was lost. And if we lose that, it's like going back to ages. So I am warning as a prophet of God that people should pay attention to what is going to happen and what may happen if we don't take care about it. Anyway, this segment is something different. This segment, I want to talk about something germane to the situations. We talk about a lot of breakdown and the things that is going on in urban communities, in urban centers, how the politicians that run most of these urban places, which are occupied by mostly minority, and the dangers that it poses onto them. Can you imagine, for example, I know we're talking about politics, not about politics, but can you imagine if, for example, the millions of people were coming and in movement during this coronavirus, and where are they going to settle? They find themselves mostly in urban communities, and assuming that the escalation of COVID and the death that will happen, and they brought more, how many people that would have died, especially in among the African American and Spanish, Hispanic Americans, the Asian Americans, and all these other minorities that occupies mostly congregate in terms of health outcome that suffer most, as we can see on the impact of COVID. So now that we are talking about that, and I go to some of the work I did in Baltimore, and I just want to use this to highlight something very critical. Governor Malley, I know probably you won't be able to see this, but when you were mayor in Baltimore, and I got an invitation by one of your directors, Jackie. Hi, Jackie. Pettis, a very wonderful woman, Marie, and in designing a program in Baltimore to rehabilitate people because of the way things were going down. It used to be number one, number two, number three in the country, respectively, in terms of like what is happening in Chicago today. And it was a war zone. But because I was a conflict analyst in Liberia during Liberian War, I was invited to design a program to rehabilitate the community. And when I went there, I did a research for 2 years. And during those 2 years of research, man, what I saw was like I was in a war zone, an enclave that is completely separated from the rest of the country. And I'll talk more about this because I just came back from Baltimore a few weeks ago, and I'm going to get back to Baltimore to try to do something, see if we can do some things that is going to impact Baltimore. So that's why I'm saying this. The company that I mentioned earlier in the previous segments, Care Solutions Corporations, helped in designing mental health programs, both outpatient mental health center and psychiatric rehabilitation programs that rehabilitated a lot of people. Hello, people of Baltimore. This is your guy here, speaking to you in a more cordial and jovial way. And of course, those of you in Baltimore knows about my program over there, whether it is from South Baltimore, Cherry Hill, all the way from MD2 going back to the east side towards the North Avenue, to Berry Grant, to Bel Air Road, all the way down to Edmond, going down to 83 to West Baltimore, like Park Heights, Rassastown Road area, extending down to Baltimore County, down to Winnock, Liberty Road, all the way down Pennsylvania Avenue towards on the west side. So north, south, east, and north was mostly the population that I served. And I know we did a wonderful job. Apart from being the only minority program, a health program in the state then that had accreditation as far back as late 2009 and into 2010. Our program was instrumental because in 2005, for example, 2004 and before then 2000, 2002, 2003, 2004, Baltimore was like a war zone. You know, if you go to South Baltimore, there is police on every corner and every block. Actually, not even every block. Every building has assigned a squad, and more squad, police cars about what's going on. People from, for example, Bethune. I know when I say Bethune, they laugh at me about how I pronounce Bethune. Bethune Road cannot go down to Belly Grove, or cannot go up the hill. Even how much more getting to Belly Grove, or getting it's only one way in, one way out. You know, drugs, prostitutions, alcohol around Cherry Hill, and a lot of problems we address in that community. And it's been that way for decades. And but within 12 months of deploying my team in that particular place, once I designed the program and the DHM mesh approved it and funding came, and we designed it in 12 months, there was no more police car. The way police used to drive around, chase people, knock people, hit people, they shoot him, and yellow tape. That's the first time I saw the yellow tape that cut down places and helicopter flying over there. Yeah, it was rocky for the first 6 months. And I thank Baltimore City Police that this time I called for backup and for help. They were there within 5 minutes. So with their work and the mental health team, we were able to regain to set that particular community free. So when people talk about those they gave up on, they give up on a lot of people and say, oh, they're going to jail and they're kicked out of school, lost no confidence in them, and no services available. And we worked very hard, and thank God for Catholic Charity that helped to bring even. There was no food market. In order for them to buy food, they have to. Nobody wants to stay there. And when I opened, within a few months I opened, they killed my neighbor. Right there, and all the staff quit. So each time you hire staff, they quit because of the nature of the environment. But we keep tweaking and working on it until we were able to reach out to a lot of people, do an outreach and deliver services in a way that calmed it down, that within 12 months, there couldn't find no more police who needed to be assigned to be there, except when somebody called in like you have in every other community. But before then, you could not to go walk few steps without finding a police car station. Of course, Governor Mali, you know how much is you then you were mayor, so you know how much it cost you. And for people from Baltimore, I want you to know that I'm so proud of you. Whether those that used to be engaged in the beef, I notice it's no longer as it used to be. The beef that used to be between the Crips and the Blood, and in which case I intervened in several of conflict resolutions to settle matter between the young kids. These are children. And or is it those that kicked out of school that worked tirelessly with my team to put them back into get them back in school, because school is important without school, and they're reaping the benefit now. All the fighting, oh my goodness, the things we went through. So, but I'm so happy when I talk to the kids and run into them, they run to me and they call my name and their life is changed. I have not run into a single one that don't have a job. Those of you that never had a job, you are the first in your family to own a job in 3 generations. When you received your paycheck, you ran to me crying. I never thought I could ever earn a paycheck in my life. Your life was transformed, and each time I run into you, you have a job, and your life have, some of you have 2 jobs now and changing jobs. Keep it up. I'm so proud of every one of you. In fact, some of you now own a car. Some of you were all children, but now you're married, you have your own children, and you have your own family. Before, no men were involved in their life. Now, some of you have your baby daddies and your husbands involved in you raising your children. These are things that can transform the community. I talked a lot about that in detail with empirical research that I found in my books to show that this is the way out, and we're coming back. And I say, keep it up. My thumbs up for every one of you that took part in our program, to know to keep up the good job, because you can see the benefit of it now. You laugh and you joke, and when you call me and when you come to, when I see you, you remember all those things. I used to be very, you say I used to be mean because I have a very strict rules that are designed in the program, but today you are reaping the benefit, and all of you are enjoying multiple jobs and income, having a job, having a life, living your dream, your American dream. So I just want to encourage you and keep it short at 15 minutes. So keep it up, okay? Keep it up. And I'll be in Baltimore very soon, and we are going to try to help because of a lot of other things that I found out that is also going on to give back to my community. So give back to your community, wherever you are, in whichever thing, give back to the community, especially those that have facing a lot of difficulties. So you also, I'll be back and I will be in Baltimore. We are going to do that. We are going to take it to all the other urban areas where people are suffering and in captivity, and that need some help in order to get ahead, to navigate the system, to have a better life and live their dreams. And please go and vote. Go and vote. Go and vote.